Dr. Nadia Patel pressed her hand against the observation window of Space Station Helios, watching the approaching Lyrian vessel. Their ship resembled an elegant sea creature, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. After 15 years of studying xenolinguistics, she was about to face her greatest challenge, establishing first contact protocols with a species that communicated through bioluminescence. Nervous, Lieutenant James Harrison asked, joining her at the window. His dark uniform contrasted sharply with the sterile white of the station's walls. Excited, Nadia corrected, adjusting her translator interface. The Lyrians' light-based language could revolutionize our understanding of nonverbal communication. Just remember, Security Chief Olivia Reeves interjected from her position by the airlock. Any unexpected movements could be misinterpreted. We can't afford diplomatic incidents. The station hummed as the Lyrian ship completed its docking sequence. Nadia's heart raced as the airlock cycled. She had memorized every scrap of data from the preliminary drone exchanges, but nothing had prepared her for the reality of the Lyrians. Ambassador Zena entered first, her translucent skin emanating soft purple light that rippled like aurora borealis. Behind her, two other Lyrians pulsed with gentler blues and greens. Their tall, elegant forms moved with liquid grace, and what appeared to be crystalline formations protruded from their shoulders and forearms. Nadia stepped forward, activating her translator interface. She had practiced this moment countless times, programming her chest-mounted bioluminescent display to emit the precise pattern of lights that meant peaceful greetings in Lyrian. Ambassador Zena's skin flickered with surprise, then shifted to a warm gold that Nadia recognized as pleasure. The ambassador's response came as a complex dance of lights across her skin, which Nadia's translator rendered as, "Your effort to speak our language honors us, though your accent is interesting." Was that humor? Nadia hadn't expected that. "I hope to improve with practice," she responded, her display flickering with carefully programmed patterns. "Your technology is clever," Zeno observed, moving closer to study Nadia's translator. "But it lacks the subtle harmonics of natural bioluminescence. Perhaps we could teach you a more organic approach." Before Nadia could respond, one of the other Lyrians, introduced as Science Director Riven, stepped forward. His skin pulsed with rapid patterns that set Nadia's translator working overtime. "We've observed humans use chemical signals and micro-expressions for nonverbal communication. Not unlike our own methods, though less brilliant." "Fascinating," Nadia breathed. "You can detect our pheromones and micro-expressions? Your species glows in ways you cannot see," Riven explained, his skin shifting to scholarly blue. "Emotional states, health conditions, even attraction, all visible to us through various wavelengths." Olivia shifted uncomfortably at this revelation, but Nadia leaned in, captivated. "Can you teach me to understand these signals?" "It would require close contact," Zena cautioned, her lights dancing with something Nadia's translator couldn't quite capture. "Our species has never attempted such an exchange." "I volunteer," Nadia said immediately, earning a warning look from Olivia. "For science and diplomacy." The third Lyrian, cultural attaché Lux, emitted a pattern that made both Zena and Riven's lights flicker rapidly. Nadia's translator struggled. She glows with truth/passion/dedication. "Then we accept," Zena declared, her skin brightening. "We will teach you our ways and learn yours in return. Beginning with." She reached out, her crystalline fingers nearly touching Nadia's face. "This expression you're making. Fascination mixed with uncertainty? The muscles around your eyes contract uniquely." "Dr. Patel," Olivia interrupted. "Perhaps we should discuss protocols before." "Protocols are important," Zena agreed, withdrawing her hand. "But understanding must start somewhere." She turned to address the whole group, her skin painting patterns that spoke of hope and possibility. "We Lyrians believe that true communication requires more than words or light. It requires resonance between beings." As if to demonstrate, she emitted a complex series of pulses that made the crystalline formations on her body chime softly. The sound and light combined created something that bypassed Nadia's translator entirely, speaking directly to some primitive part of her brain that understood beauty. That was. Nadia struggled to find words. A traditional greeting song, Zena explained. It speaks of new beginnings and the harmony of different worlds. James, who had been quietly observing, suddenly stepped forward. Your crystals, they're not just decorative, are they? They're instruments. Perceptive, Riven acknowledged, his own crystals catching the light. They amplify and focus our bioluminescent communications, allowing for more complex expressions. Nadia's mind raced with possibilities. Could humans learn to understand these harmonics without technology? Unknown, Lux responded, their lights shifting to contemplative patterns. But your curiosity resonates well. It creates patterns we rarely see in non-Lyrians. Speaking of patterns, Olivia cut in, ever vigilant. We should establish security protocols for these cultural exchanges. Of course, Zena agreed, her lights dimming to formal tones. But first, she turned to Nadia, extending her hand. Where their fingers nearly touched, Nadia swore she could feel a tingling sensation, as if the air itself was charged with possibility. Would you like to learn your first lesson in true Lyrian communication, Dr. Patel? Nadia didn't hesitate. Yes, she said, and then attempted to pulse the same response with her translator. The device sparked slightly, overwhelmed by her enthusiasm. Zena's answering light pattern needed no translation. Some forms of joy were universal. As the group moved toward the conference room, Nadia caught James watching the Lyrians with unusual intensity. Something in his expression suggested he was sensing more than he let on. But before she could ask, Zena began demonstrating basic light patterns, and Nadia's attention was completely captured by the dance of communication happening before her. This was just the beginning, she knew. Somewhere between the light and shadow, between word and gesture, between human and Lyrian, a new language was waiting to be born. Lieutenant James Harrison couldn't shake the headache that had been building since the Lyrians arrived 3 weeks ago. He rubbed his temples, staring at the engineering schematics before him, trying to focus on the task at hand, integrating Lyrian crystalline technology with the station's power grid. Your aura is troubled today, Velas said, her skin pulsing with concerned indigo waves. The Lyrian engineer had been assigned as his counterpart for the integration project, and lately, he'd been finding her presence both soothing and unsettling. Just a headache, James replied, avoiding her gaze. He didn't mention how he'd started seeing strange patterns at the edges of his vision, or how he sometimes thought he could sense the Lyrians' emotions even before their translator devices interpreted their light signals. Perhaps, Vela suggested, her crystalline formations catching the light. You are beginning to resonate. Resonate. Like Dr. Patel, she has shown remarkable sensitivity to our harmonic frequencies. Vela moved closer, her bioluminescence shifting to a diagnostic pattern. Some humans seem more attuned than others. James stepped back, uncomfortable with how clearly she seemed to read him. We should focus on the power integration. The crystalline matrices are responding to you, Vela interrupted, gesturing to the experimental setup on the workbench. The Lyrian power crystal was indeed pulsing in sync with James's heartbeat, something it definitely shouldn't have been doing. That's impossible, he muttered. But even as he said it, he could feel the crystal's resonance, like music just below the threshold of hearing. Impossible. Dr. Nadia Patel's voice came from the doorway. She entered the lab, her eyes bright with excitement. Like how it's impossible that I can now perceive certain Lyrian emotional states without a translator? James turned to her, startled. You can. It started gradually, Nadia explained, moving to examine the resonating crystal. First just impressions, then clearer perceptions. Zena thinks prolonged exposure to their harmonic frequencies might be awakening latent abilities in compatible humans. That could be dangerous, Security Chief Olivia Reeves said, following Nadia into the lab. Her expression was stern. We don't know the long-term effects of this. Resonance. We're studying it carefully, Nadia assured her. The Lyrians have been completely transparent about their observations. Too transparent, some would say, Olivia replied. The military brass is concerned about how easily they can read our biological signals. It's a tactical vulnerability. James felt Vela's distress before he saw her lights dim. We cannot help how we perceive, the Lyrian engineer said softly. Would you ask us to blind ourselves? No one's asking that, James said quickly, surprised by his own protective instinct. But Olivia's right. We need to understand what's happening. He hesitated, then admitted, especially since some of us seem to be changing. Changing how? Olivia demanded. Instead of answering, James reached toward the power crystal. As he concentrated, the crystal's glow intensified, its frequency shifting to match his focused intent. The lights in the lab flickered as energy flowed in new patterns. Remarkable, Vela breathed, her own crystals chiming in harmony. You've achieved resonant synchronization without any training. Is it dangerous? Olivia asked, her hand instinctively moving to her sidearm. No, Vela assured them, her lights painting patterns of certainty. It is natural, like finding a voice you never knew you had. Nadia was already scanning the crystal with her research equipment. The energy patterns are stable, but they're unlike anything in our database. James, how are you doing this? I don't know, he admitted. It's like hearing a song and humming along. Once you find the right frequency, it just flows. We should report this, Olivia insisted. Wait, James said. Let me try something first. He closed his eyes, focusing on the resonance he felt from Vela. After a moment, his skin began to tingle, and Nadia gasped. James, you're glowing. He opened his eyes to see a faint luminescence dancing across his skin. Nothing like the Lyrian's brilliant displays, but unmistakably similar in pattern. This is unprecedented, Vela said, moving closer to examine the phenomenon. Human biology shouldn't be capable of bioluminescent response. Maybe we're more adaptable than anyone realized, Nadia suggested, her scientific excitement barely contained. Or maybe, Olivia countered, we're being unknowingly modified by prolonged exposure to Lyrian energy patterns. No, Vela's lights flashed with emphasis. We are not changing you. We are merely awakening what was already there, the ability to perceive and interact with the fundamental harmonics that connect all living things. James felt the truth of her words resonating in his bones. Like how human children can learn any language if exposed early enough. We're not being changed. We're learning a new way to communicate. A dangerous way, Olivia warned. One that could compromise station security. What happens when you can't control these abilities? As if in response to her concern, the power crystal's glow intensified dramatically. James felt energy surging through him, overwhelming his tentative control. The lab's lights flickered wildly. James. Vela's voice cut through his panic. Her hands found his shoulders, her own crystals emanating a calming frequency that helped him regain focus. The power surge subsided. That's exactly what I mean, Olivia said, but her expression had shifted from suspicion to concern. You need training, containment. Understanding, Nadia corrected. And the Lyrians can provide that. If you will accept our guidance, Vela added, her lights expressing hope tinged with uncertainty. James looked at his hands, where the faintest glow still lingered. He thought about the headaches, the strange perceptions, the growing sense of connection he couldn't explain. I don't think we have a choice, he said finally. This is happening, whether we're ready or not. Then we proceed carefully, Olivia conceded. With proper monitoring and safeguards. And with trust, Vela added, her crystalline formations chiming softly. The harmonics cannot be forced or contained. They must be understood. As the others discussed protocols and studies, James reached out to touch the power crystal again. This time, the resonance came easier, more naturally. In the crystal's glow, he saw not just power, but possibility, a bridge between two species who were perhaps not so different after all. But as his newfound sensitivity expanded, he caught something else, a discordant note in the station's background harmonics, like a warning just below the threshold of perception. Something was coming, and he had a feeling these emerging abilities would soon be tested in ways none of them could predict. Security Chief Olivia Reeves stood in the darkened hydroponics bay, examining the destroyed Lyrian growth crystals. The shattered fragments no longer hummed with their characteristic energy. Someone had deliberately disrupted their harmonic frequency until they fractured from within. How bad is it? Dr. Nadia Patel asked, entering the bay with Ambassador Zena. The Lyrian's skin pulsed with distressed crimson waves. Bad enough, Olivia replied, holding up a crystal shard. Whoever did this knew exactly how to destabilize the crystalline structure. This wasn't random vandalism. These crystals were essential to our atmospheric adaptation research, Zena said, her lights dimming with sorrow. Without them, many areas of the station will remain inaccessible to my people. Olivia activated her datapad, reviewing the security logs. The system shows no unauthorized entries, no alarm triggers. Either our saboteur has high-level access, or they've found a way around our security protocols, Lieutenant James Harrison finished, joining them. His newfound sensitivity to Lyrian energy had made him an unexpected asset to the investigation. Can you sense anything? Olivia asked him, still adjusting to relying on these strange new abilities. James closed his eyes, concentrating. There's discord, like an echo of violence. And something else. His face tightened with effort. Fear. Whoever did this was afraid. Afraid of what? Nadia wondered. Of change, Vela suggested, entering with a diagnostic tool. The Lyrian engineer's lights painted patterns of grim understanding. Not everyone welcomes the harmonics developing between our species. Olivia had seen the reports, a growing movement among both humans and Lyrians who oppose their increasing integration. Have you received more threats? Daily, Zena acknowledged. But this is the first act of physical sabotage. Maybe not, James said suddenly. He moved to a wall panel, placing his hand against it. The power fluctuations last week. I thought they were just integration issues, but now, his skin began to glow faintly. There's the same resonant signature. Deliberate interference. Olivia fought her instinctive unease at this display of his new abilities. We need to increase security around all Lyrian technology, and around the humans showing sensitivity to their harmonics. You mean lock us up? James challenged. Protect you, Olivia corrected. You and Dr. Patel are living proof that our species can achieve something remarkable together. That makes you both targets. She's right, Vela said, her crystals chiming softly. The discord we're detecting, it's growing stronger. Nadia moved to examine the broken crystals. Can they be repaired? Not these, Zena said. But we can grow new ones, if we can protect them long enough to mature. How long? Olivia asked. 3 Earth weeks. They require constant harmonic maintenance during development. I can help with that, James offered. My resonance abilities. A sudden alarm cut him off. Red emergency lights flooded the hydroponics bay. Security breach in the main power core, the station's AI announced. Unauthorized access detected. The core's crystalline matrix, Vela's lights flashed with urgency. If they disrupt its harmonic balance, the whole station could lose power, James finished, including life support. Olivia was already moving. Harrison, with me. Vela, we'll need your expertise. The rest of you, get to secure areas. They raced through the station's corridors, Olivia's tactical training warring with her awareness of how unprepared they were for this type of threat. Traditional weapons meant nothing against harmonic attacks. The power core's security doors were sealed, but James placed his hand on the control panel. His skin began to glow as he matched frequencies with the Lyrian technology integrated into the system. The doors slid open. Inside, they found 2 figures in environmental suits working at the main crystal matrix. One human, one Lyrian, working together to destroy what their peoples had built together. Stop, Olivia commanded, drawing her weapon. Step away from the controls. The human saboteur turned, revealing a face Olivia recognized. Dr. Marcus Walsh from the Xenobiology department. You don't understand, he said, his voice distorted through his suit's comm. These changes. They're too fast, too fundamental. We're losing our humanity. The Lyrian saboteur's lights pulsed with angry patterns. and we are losing our purity of resonance. This integration must end. The only thing we're losing, James said, stepping forward, his skin glowing brighter, is our fear of difference. He reached out toward the crystal matrix, attempting to stabilize its frequencies. The Lyrian saboteur emitted a harsh, discordant pulse that made James stagger. Vela rushed to support him, her own crystals chiming in counterpoint, trying to restore harmony. Olivia kept her weapon trained on Walsh. Doctor, think about what you're doing. This won't just affect the Lyrians. It'll kill everyone on this station. Better that than watching us become something else, Walsh replied, reaching for the matrix controls. In that moment, several things happened at once. Walsh's hand touched the crystal matrix. The Lyrian saboteur emitted a powerful harmonic pulse. James and Vela combined their resonance in desperate defense. And Olivia made a choice. She fired, not at the saboteurs, but at the emergency containment shield controls. The shield slammed down, isolating the matrix from external harmonic interference. The saboteurs' attack reflected back on them, sending them both crumpling to the floor. Containment held, Vela reported, her light steady as she checked the matrix's readings. Core stability at 92% and rising. Olivia secured the unconscious saboteurs while James helped stabilize the power systems. She couldn't help noticing how naturally he worked with the Lyrian technology now, his movements sure and graceful as his skin pulsed with subtle light. You know this won't be the end, she said later, after the saboteurs were in custody and the crisis had passed. There will be others who resist these changes. Of course, Zena replied, joining them in the security office. Change is never easy. But what is happening between our peoples? It cannot be stopped. We can only choose how to embrace it. Olivia looked at her security feeds, showing humans and Lyrians working together throughout the station. In some areas, she could see the faint glow of developing harmonics around certain humans, not just James and Nadia now, but others beginning to show sensitivity. Then we'll adapt, she decided. Update our security protocols to account for harmonic attacks. Train personnel to recognize the signs. And most importantly, she turned to face Zena. We'll show them that what we're gaining is far greater than anything we might fear to lose. The ambassador's skin brightened with approval, and for the first time, Olivia thought she could almost see the pattern's meaning without a translator. Almost. Ambassador Zena stood before the Lyrian High Council's holographic projection, her skin pulsing with carefully controlled patterns of diplomatic neutrality. The 7 council members' images shimmered in the station's secure communication chamber, their combined bioluminescence casting shifting shadows. You propose to share our most sacred harmonic technologies with humans? Counselor Nyrix's lights flashed with barely contained outrage. The very humans who were already showing unauthorized resonance abilities? Not unauthorized, Zena corrected, maintaining her professional patterns. Natural. As our research with Dr. Patel proves, Dr. Patel interrupted Counselor Merricks, who now perceives our emotional harmonics without technological assistance. Lieutenant Harrison, who interfaces directly with our crystals. How many more will develop these abilities? Where does it end? Before Zena could respond, the chamber door opened, admitting Nadia and Vela. The human xenolinguist now moved with an almost Lyrian grace, subtle patterns of light occasionally shimmering beneath her skin. Forgive our interruption, Nadia said, both verbally and with a passable attempt at formal Lyrian light patterns. But we've made a breakthrough in the Joint Resonance Project. The council members' lights flickered with mixed reactions, curiosity warring with traditional caution. Zena seized the opportunity. Perhaps a demonstration would address some concerns. After a moment of silent light exchanges among themselves, the council agreed. Vela stepped forward, activating a holographic display of her own. We've discovered that human neural patterns naturally produce harmonic frequencies similar to our own, just in ranges they normally can't perceive. Our technology isn't creating new abilities, it's amplifying what's already there. To demonstrate, Nadia and Vela stood side by side. As they concentrated, their biological energy synchronized, creating a haunting harmony that made the council members' crystals chime in response. Impossible, Counselor Nyrix whispered, their lights dimming with shock. No, Zena said firmly. Inevitable. Our species aren't just compatible, we're complementary. Humans' innovative drive combined with our harmonic understanding could revolutionize both our civilizations. Or destroy them, Counselor Merrick's warned. The Purity Vanguard grows stronger daily. This morning's attack was thwarted. Security Chief Olivia Reeves interjected, entering with Lieutenant Harrison. By humans and Lyrians working together. James demonstrated by interfacing with a nearby crystal panel, his newly trained abilities now precise and controlled. We're learning to protect your technology, not exploit it. The council chambers fell silent, filled only with rippling patterns of light as the members communicated privately. Finally, the head counselor, Cyrix, spoke. The harmony between you is undeniable. But so are the risks. What guarantee can you offer that these abilities won't be misused? None, Zena admitted. Just as you cannot guarantee that any Lyrian will use their natural abilities wisely. But we can build safeguards together, find balance through cooperation rather than fear. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Olivia's communicator crackled to life. Multiple unauthorized ships dropping out of FTL. Purity Vanguard signatures detected. The council members' images flickered as the station's power fluctuated. It seems, Counselor Cyrix said grimly, that choice has been taken from us all. No. Zena's lights flashed with determination. Now is when we choose most clearly. She turned to her human colleagues. No, her friends. Will you stand with me? The answers came without hesitation. Nadia's growing light patterns, James's resonant energy, Olivia's firm nod, and Vela's harmonious chime. Together, they faced the council. The Purity Vanguard seeks to prevent what has already begun, Zena declared. They fear the symphony we could create together. Help us prove them wrong. After what felt like an eternity, Counselor Cyrix's lights shifted to a pattern of provisional acceptance. Show us, Ambassador. Show us this harmony you believe in. As if in response to the Council's challenge, another explosion rocked the station. The battle for their future had begun, and its outcome would depend on how well humans and Lyrians could resonate together. The Purity Vanguard ships surrounded Space Station Helios, their crystalline hulls pulsing with aggressive, harmonic patterns. Inside the station's command center, humans and Lyrians worked frantically to coordinate their defense. 6 vessels, heavily armed, Olivia reported, studying tactical displays. They're using modified resonance weapons. Our standard shields won't hold. Then we adapt, James said, his skin glowing as he interfaced with the station's integrated crystal matrix. Vela, can we reconfigure the shield harmonics? The Lyrian engineer's lights flickered with rapid calculations. Yes, but we'll need more power than the core can safely generate. Unless, Nadia suggested, looking at the assembled humans and Lyrians, we amplify it ourselves. Ambassador Zena understood immediately. A unified resonance field. But we've never attempted it on this scale. We've never had to, Vela said, her crystals chiming with determination. But the theory is sound. If enough of us synchronize our harmonics. Another blast rocked the station. Shields at 38%, the computer announced. We're out of options, Olivia decided. What do you need? Everyone with resonance sensitivity, James said, moving to the central crystal array. Arranged in a harmonic circle. The Lyrians can guide the frequencies, while we provide the amplification. As they quickly organized, the Purity Vanguard's leader appeared on their communication screen. A Lyrian elder whose lights pulsed with righteous certainty. Surrender the humans who have been corrupted by resonance, and we may show mercy. The only corruption, Zena replied, taking her place in the circle, is your fear of change. The elder's lights flashed with fury. You risk everything our species is. Our pure harmonics, our sacred traditions. Will evolve, Zena interrupted, as all living things must. Watch and understand what you fight against. She nodded to James, who had positioned himself between her and Nadia. Vela completed their circle, along with other humans and Lyrians who had developed sensitivity. As the Vanguard ships charged their weapons, the group began to resonate. It started slowly, individual patterns of light and energy merging, harmonizing. The station's crystals caught their frequencies, amplifying them. Where human innovation met Lyrian tradition, something new emerged. Remarkable, breathed one of the council members, still watching through their holographic connection. The harmonics, they're stabilizing each other. The Vanguard ships fired. But as their destructive frequencies reached the station, they met a shield unlike any before. A living barrier of harmonized energy, human and Lyrian resonance intertwined. Impossible, the Vanguard leader raged. You cannot. We already have, Nadia managed through gritted teeth, her skin glowing brighter than ever. Every attack makes us stronger, more in tune. She was right. Each blast forced them to adjust, to find new harmonies, new ways of working together. The station's crystals sang with power, transformed by the unprecedented fusion of two species' energy.